he was already a great coach in his own right? But every year he would go to a clinic at Penn State University to learn from their coaches how he could get better. So that right there communicated something to me big time, that, you know, even though you might be good at something, you could keep getting better at it.
Yeah.
And that true, like I believe that. I seen it happen. I seen him do it. I'm like, yo, this is a great coach. He going to get to learn more. Like, if he need to learn more, I need to learn more.
We are here with the one and only. He is a linebacker for the Cincinnati Bengals from Duke University. Vincent Rey in the building. Clap it up. He is here. Appreciate you, man. How you doing?
Doing great.
That's good, man. That's good. Man, it's good to have you here, man. It's definitely good to have you here. You're also from New York, right?
Yep.
New York.
Yeah.
And so when you first got here, what was your first impression of Cincinnati?
Man, it's like a big town, you know. When I first got here, I was like, it's like a big town. Like, just felt like everybody knew everybody, like, through some way, you know. I'm from Queens, New York. It's, you know, so many people, millions of people in that one borough. So it's like, it's just crazy how everybody knew everybody, and people are nice, real nice out here. You know, I've grown to love Cincinnati.
That's cool. And so being from New York, what first inspired you to go in, you know, to start going into being serious with football and all of that stuff like that? It's like, who was it? A certain person? Was it a certain moment?
Yeah. So I got introduced to football at 6 years old. You know, I have a wonderful father, man. Great man. And my father said, like, we were walking past, you know, some guys playing, like, they was signing up to play football. We was coming from Bravo's, this supermarket, walking to the house. You know, we lived on the 5th floor at the time. Right? See, where I'm from, it's a lot of buildings. You know, so lived on the 5th floor, and I remember he was saying, "You want to try out for it was called the Far Rockaway Panthers." I was like, "Yeah," and ever since then, I've been playing football every year of my life.
Dang, it's crazy how, you know, one initial thing, you know, what if that person never said that, right? What if they never said, if you want to try out? It's crazy how one moment, you know, like for basketball with us, what if we never would have went to that one team or had that one coach, or you just never know how things would have turned out.
Tried out.
Yeah, you never know.
You went to Bayside High School. Went to Bayside High School, and you know, you told me before you went prep. Mercersburg, right? Mercersburg Academy. So, you know, the recruiting process is different for everybody. But, of course, my favorite school of all time, I think you like Duke, too.
Oh, that's my favorite basketball team, for sure.
Duke,
for
I'm
sure.
sorry, the Duke University. Shout out to Coach K.
The GOAT.
So you got a chance to get recruited by them. You got a chance to go there. But before you can go there, you had to go prep. So how was that experience? And how did that help you grow before you even stepped foot on campus?
Man, just a lot of my life had just been, you know, marked by struggle, you know. I have, you know, wonderful parents, great, and that's what's really helped me so much. They really set me on a path, you know, on the way I should go. You know, they did a great job with me and my brother and my sister. But yeah, before I can even talk about prep school, like going to high school, the thing is, in New York City, most schools don't have football like that. So
I was about to mention that.
I traveled all the way from like the most south part of Queens, like out by the water. I grew in Far Rockaway. It's about like you grew up on the peninsula. Like I grew up 3 blocks away from the Atlantic Ocean, like Jamaica Bay right there. So we were on the peninsula. I had to travel all the way to the other side of Queens. It was a 2-hour travel each day to school and back. You know, so I went there because it was a pretty good school. You know, it was a good school, known for having good academics, but also it was like a school that had football and it took football seriously. So I wanted to go out there and play. So for 2 years, I walked 10 blocks to the bus stop, got on the bus, like 2-hour travel, 2 trains in the bus to school. Like I'm leaving the house at 5:45 every morning to get to school for 8:15. So it's just, my life had been marked by struggle, man. But a lot of times without struggle is no progress. So I'm so thankful for those things. It really instilled a lot of special things in me, like time management, discipline, and getting a scholarship to Duke, which was a crazy process, a crazy thing in itself. But they told me I had to go to prep school for a year. They didn't hear about me until like a month before signing day. So they already had they guys they signed and everything. So I had to, they put me on the back burner. Went to a prep school out in Mercersburg, Pennsylvania, small town, about 2,000 people, and went there for a year and was able to go to Duke. And I loved playing at Duke University.
Man.
So when did you start getting recruited by Duke? And what made you even want to go there? Being from New York, the Big Apple, you had to go, to the South, to the coast. So, like, what made you like, all right, I'm gonna go to Duke?
All right, so I didn't have a Division I scholarship,
At first.
So usually the time you would start getting scholarships is sophomore, junior year. Guys start getting like multiple scholarships. I didn't have any scholarships until after the season. Like, I got offered a scholarship by Hofstra University, 1AA school. But I was hoping to have a chance. I wanted to play at that Division 1A level,
right?
Just to know, like, if I got like the. All right, good. We need some H2O.
No. You good? You're trying so hard to hold it. Okay,
but just to know, like, man, can I make it at that level? So I was holding out, and then one of my coaches knew a coach, who knew a coach who coached at Duke, and that's really what got me on there. He saw like my highlight tape. He saw like 4 or 5 plays,
right?
Because we really didn't have it recorded like that. Like it wasn't.
You didn't have Huddle, how you got it now.
Yeah,
right. We got it easy now. You got websites for highlights and all of that.
All that.
You can pay services to get you out there.
Yeah.
Different scouting websites to get you out there. But man, like literally, so a 0-star recruit, 1-star recruit, literally to Duke to where you are now. It's just you have to start literally from somewhere, and that's just so inspiring. Just to hear that.
Because a lot of kids now, they're like, oh, I don't have that offer yet, or and they get discouraged. You know what I mean? They get discouraged really quick because now, especially with social media now. With social media, you see other people like, oh, he got 100,000 followers. He's already committed to here and all of that. And some people are looking like, dang, when is my time going to come? But so what would you say to a young kid or not, maybe just a high school athlete who doesn't have the offer they want yet, and it's not maybe that big school yet? What would you say to them?
Well, I'll tell them, man, the number one thing they have to do is, continue to listen to their coaches. That's like, whatever sport, whatever your coach is coaching you up to do, telling you to do what they say and do it over and over and over, as best as you can, because practice makes permanent, like whatever you do, that's permanently who you're going to be. So you want to practice excellent habits. So I'll just say do that, man. Don't be concerned about going, what scholarship or where you're going to go. Be concerned about grinding and, waiting on that chance to go to a big time school. And if you feel like you want to walk on somewhere, don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to take that step.
Right.
Because you never know. Like, if you grind as hard as you can, you never know.
Right.
But if you're not grinding, then you're not going to.
Right.
It ain't going to work out.
Exactly.
My father used to tell me, like, but if you grind, you never know. You could be that dude.
Yeah, my dad, he always told me, he would always say, son, make sure you never get outworked. And I never really understood the magnitude of that, but he would always say, over the summers when you catch these dudes, the ones that's more athletic, the more that may have this than you, but the summer is really when you catch people. Like, there's no off season, anything, whether it's school, you may be taking summer classes in your business or on the field, on the court, wherever. So you always got to put in that work. And, I know they had to continue when you went to Duke. That's a prestigious university, really good academically. And when you got there, like, how hard was that to balance, the field, the classroom? How hard was that, for you to balance that? And what was the experience like going to school there, like keeping up with the grades?
Man, honestly, it's going to sound crazy, but I didn't realize how good of a school Duke was till like my sophomore year there. Like I remember like all the accolades, like, oh, this is a top university. But I always heard something like that from other schools. Like I went on a college tour or something, and they'll say, oh, this college is top at this, or this college is top at that. So I just feel like, shoot, every college is good. So Duke is top at something, this school's top at something, and it wasn't until my sophomore year when I had a conversation with a friend, they were like, nah, Duke is like one of the top academic schools. And the schoolwork was so crazy, man. It was school and football, like it was 2 full-time jobs, really. It was just, you just grinding. You know, you just going.
Right.
You like a zombie. You just grinding, just do this, do that. We got block scheduling. They, like everything was blocked off. You had what they call AEP, which was basically study hall. We had to do this, do that. We had a mentor. We had focus group teachers. We had, you know, 2 private one-on-one tutors. We had all of that, you know, just to help us to compete in the classroom, because they was competing in that classroom. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And so, you know, it kind of reminds me of like the high school I went to, Warner Hills, how, you know, it's the top school in the state, but then also the sports is starting to go up too, you know, and so it's like the expectation is there. You know, some schools, you know, if you're an athlete, it's like, oh, you know, we'll let you slide. But there's schools like that. It's like, okay, you're an athlete, that's cool and all, but you know, we known for academics too, and so that grind on both sides is there. And speaking of that, just going back to what you were saying before, we were talking about before with the grinding and the hard work and all of that stuff there. Me being a coach, a lot of times I have to tell my players, like, okay, look, sometimes people are born in better situations. You can't control the family you're born into. You can't control the neighborhood you're born into. A lot of times, especially as kids, you don't even control what school you go to. But one of the great equalizers is hard work. You know, hard work. So, you know, you might have a disadvantage, you know, as some people see it in this area, but in life, the great equalizer is always going to be hard work. And so, you know, you growing up, what was that preparation like that hard work? What did that actually look like coming up, preparing yourself? Because before the opportunity came for Duke, right, you had to be actually good. You know, you actually had to have the skill and the talent. So what was that process like, the preparation, you know?
Man, the process of preparation, you know, it wasn't just on the football field, you know. I really believe the process of preparation came from just, number one, obeying my authorities, you know, number one, my parents, like listening to them, like telling me do well in school, you know, even if you feel like you're not going to use this when you get older, just do well because we say so, you know, and you know, you got to learn to be under authority because you're going to be so for your whole life, you know, even if the president, you know, there's still checks and balances, like you're going to be under some type of authority. So that having that mindset to listen to those older than me, you know, really helped me, you know, to focus and just grind. You know, everything I do, just know I got to grind. You know, I got to get it. Nothing's really going to be handed to me. You know, where I'm from, I'm from a place where, like, in elementary school, more of the guys that I knew had no father, you know, didn't have a father, and then actually did have one. I was one of those who were the few who did have a father in the household. So I did see situations, you know, that was messed up. And even going now on the opposite end of the spectrum, going to prep school, I seen opposite situations. I seen people who were very affluent, you know. Even going to Duke, I seen people who are very affluent. But like you said, the equalizer is just grinding, just, you know, just working hard. And you know, it's something to be said about just grinding and just putting in work. Yeah.
Because a lot of times that's, you know, you can tell some people, are, especially kids, they get discouraged, you know, high school kids, they get discouraged like, oh, he has it better than me. Oh, he's more privileged than me, or, you know, and all of that. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's one thing that you can't control. That's how hard you work. So yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to say, like, my father, probably when I was like 12 years old or maybe 11, we had started working in the food pantry, me, my father, and my brother, food pantry at the church. And he was just like it was supposed to be like a schedule, you know, like so just so they don't overwork you. But like he just seemed to be doing it a whole lot. And he would always say, look, he's like, son, whatever you do, you know, do to the glory of God. Whatever you do to make God look good. You know, this gonna make God look good. And for him, picking up those boxes, moving it, you know, setting it up. And for him, he was a train operator, 26 years. He recently retired. You know, he did that to the glory of God. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I've been doing for a while, and that's what I'm trying to do even better. And you know, everything I do, have in mind like I'm gonna make God look good with what I'm gonna do. You know, so if I'm gonna run them sprints, I'm gonna make God look good running them sprints. You know, I ain't going just. You know what I mean?
Right,
I'm gonna go hard.
Exactly.
It's either 100 or nothing. So
right. See, that's a good one. I'm gonna tell my players that when they want to slack on the suicides, hey, make God look good, man.
So my dad, you know, very similar to your dad, you know, Stu, you know, your dad was in your life, and fathers, they play a huge role. Besides like your dad, like, who else were some mentors to you, whether, you know, at Duke or, you know, you just growing as a young man, who were some mentors in your life?
Man. Besides my father, I mean, and my mother, you know.
Or maybe some teammates that when you got to Duke, who was like those big brothers that took you in and gave you like some of your favorite memories?
Man, well, number one, I will say I'll speak towards coaches. I've been blessed to have some awesome coaches. You know, I had this coach, we call him Coach D. Coach D in high school, he was he was already a great coach in his own right? But every year he would go to a clinic at Penn State University to learn from their coaches how he could get better. So that right there communicated something to me big time, that, you know, even though you might be good at something, you could keep getting better at it. Yeah. And that true, like I believe that. I seen it happen. I seen him do it. I'm like, yo, this is a great coach. He going to get to learn more. Like, if he needs to learn more, I need to learn more, you know? So I believe that. Once I believed that, it was in my brain. So I was automatically, I was like, yo, I need to keep learning. Right. It helped me, like, looking back, I realized that was humility. Humility in itself to me is like to say, there's something I can learn from you. Like, I'm going to listen to you, you know? So it helped me in that way. You know, I'm not the most humble person, I would say, but I mean, I'm growing in that. Right. Had Coach David Cutcliffe at Duke, who's a well-known coach. Got to play for him for my last 2 years, and I stay in contact with him to this day. We text every now and then. He was an awesome coach, man. A guy who says what he means and means what he says. And for a mentor here in Cincinnati, when I got here as a rookie, there's a player who's an 11-year veteran. His name is Dhani Jones, 11-year veteran in the game, you know. So
I remember him.
I actually had the benefit to like live with him for like 4 months during the season, you know. And he allowed me to live with him, you know. I've rented out one of his rooms, so it was just so cool, man. I just caught so much more than he taught me. You feel me? Like, I caught more, meaning like I seen how he moved. Right. I seen what he was doing. I seen him on the start of our work week. Start of our work week is Wednesday morning. I seen him go to the stadium Tuesday night to get the game plan, you know? Right. I seen how he was doing these things, and it really showed me a lot. I don't know how much I learned from him, but I know I learned something, you know? So those are just a few mentors, a few people that I watched, you know?
And you had a dynamic, like, career in college. Like, you had 330 tackles, almost 6 sacks, 3 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, and you end up going undrafted, even with those stats. So, you know, with that, how hard was it, you know, for you going undrafted and then being in camp, you know, overcoming those obstacles, doing good in OTAs, rookie mini camp, you know, the preseason, and you went from having to travel to play at a school to going to prep school, playing at Duke, having a great career, but still going undrafted. So how was that process and you making that roster?
Jay, I ain't gonna let you shortchange me, man. I had three touchdowns too.
Oh, the touchdown. He's like, hold on, what about touchdowns?
Throw that in there. But
gotta put those in there. Gotta put the TDs in there.
My bad, that's my fault.
Now you good. But yeah, seriously, man. Going undrafted, like I kind of had a feeling I would be undrafted. You know, I was looking into applying for jobs. Actually, I didn't know if I would get a chance in the NFL. But thankfully, right after the draft ended, I got a call, from the Bengals. They said, we want to give you a chance. We want to bring you in, sign you to a contract. So I was one of 90 people coming into training camp. Only issue is that they were going to keep 53. But thankfully this was a place where I kind of been before, just kind of being like just on the outside looking in, having to go through the back door, not being invited to the front, but it's okay because I still had a shot, I was in the building,
right?
So man, at that point, I was like, look, no coach is gonna have to correct me. I'm gonna do all the little things, I'm gonna be in here early. I'm gonna be at meetings early. I'm gonna be taking notes, be focusing. I'm gonna do my job on the field. I'm gonna be in good shape. But still, the things that you can't control, only God can. Like injuries, they can happen at any time. Yes, you could stretch. You foam roll. Get rest. Yeah. Drink water, Gatorade. You could do all that, but like. At the same time, it could just happen. You never know.
Never know.
You never know. So you just go out there like make every play your last. But it was hard, man. I had the opportunity to be on the practice squad. So what that is you're one of 8 players on something called a practice squad, meaning you only practice. Y'all 8 only practice. Y'all don't play in games, which it was cool to practice, and be in that locker room. But as every week goes by, you got that itch to want to be on the field, man. Yeah. So eventually my time came, and a coach told me to prepare as if you're going to play. And I did that as best as I could. Sometimes, I was up and down with that, but my time came. They put me on the roster, gave me a chance to play. And every week I've been competing for a spot, ever since. That was 2010. It's 2017.
Wow.
And it's the same thing, man. Every week, come to the stadium, show why I belong,
Right.
It's like, to me, every year, it's like Toy Story, man. Like the new Buzz Lightyear coming through the door,
right?
Yeah. You Woody, you got the rip in the shoulder. Yeah. You got to let them know why you relevant, man.
Right.
So,
I was just talking to my boy about that, like, just like a job, college grads come in every year that's trying to get a job, and it's just the same way. Even in the NFL, it is a job. Right. So you got people that's trying to get your spot. So I know with you, just being undrafted. Shout out to Sean Kilpatrick because he's from New York. He played at UC.
Yeah.
And he has a brand. It's called UnDrafted. And even though me and Stu, we didn't even get a chance to get to really be one. I can relate to being undrafted in life. You know what I mean? We were overlooked. We were under pressure. We were misunderstood. So I get that. But what does it mean to you to be undrafted, and how did that really feel you to just to beast on that field? Even in your life. You know what I mean? Just to grind, just to keep you humble. What does that truly mean to you,
man? Shouts to Sean Kilpatrick. I don't know him. I never got a chance to meet him, but I love to meet him one day. Being undrafted, having that, over your head, you kind of feel like you're on the outside looking in, man. It's kind of a lonely feeling, to not get picked. 250, something like that. Like people drafted, and you gave your all on the field. And the NFL in general says you're not, you weren't good enough to be drafted. It hurts, man. And even though I've been in the NFL, this is my 8th year coming up. I'm still fighting to make it 8 years to make stay on the team. But like, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that feeling. And I you kind of get to wear it as a badge. Like, yeah, I was undrafted, man.
Right.
Like, I'm still here. It's some dudes that's not here no more.
That got drafted.
That got drafted, you know? And, like, at the end of the day, you know, whether they were better than you or not, like, they had more talent than you, like, at the end of the day, you're still here. And it's, you know, you had to grind for it, but, like, for me, I haven't missed a game yet. So, like, it's been God's protection, I believe, like, to play, I don't even know, like 90-something games in a row. We're talking NFL football.
Right.
Like,
that's crazy.
Like
that's
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're talking big football, like playing against these big time teams every week.
Yeah.
Like it's I just gotta give all the glory to God that I'm out there, you know. And I've had to do my part. I've had to meet with massage therapists weekly, chiropractors weekly, have a chef, you know, weekly. All these things. So I had to put in money, like. And Coach Lewis says your body's like a corporation. You put in good money, you put in good stuff gonna come out. So I had to pay to get pay for somebody to give me the grilled instead of the fried food, you know. My wife has to sacrifice, you know. Shout out to my wife. I love her, Noelle. But my wife has to sacrifice. You know, she want graders. I can't do graders, you know. We're going to have to eat the apples and grapes. Right? So man, it's been sacrifice, man. But, like, being undrafted, man, like, it's a burden, but then it becomes a mantle.
And see, that's another thing, too. Like, when you're playing against another team and that team maybe, like, has the hype, like, they might be ranked and known across the country. At the end of the day, because I remember when we were playing Huntington Prep. They were the number one team in the country. They had Andrew Wiggins, right? And so, yeah, they was all hyped up. Everybody was there from Kentucky looking to see him play. And we were doing good, too. We were maybe 17 in the country, 15, something like that, which is good. But, you know, they're the number one team. Like, they were nationally known on national television on multiple occasions. But I remember thinking, like, man, even through all that hype, at the end of the day, when it's time for the game to start, it's us versus y'all. That's it. It's me versus you, or like a boxer. I like boxing because it's like it's one-on-one, no matter what, no matter if you Mayweather, no matter if you the number one. At the end of the day, when that bell rings, it's me versus you. It don't matter where you came from, who your agent is, what endorsement you got. It don't matter. At the end of the day, it's me versus you, and that's it. And so when you're talking about being undrafted and you had to go through the back door, but you were in the building. So even those that got drafted, that's cool though. We in the same room now. So now we about to see. You know, I hope you brought your A game because right now it don't matter
for your spot.
Exactly. The only thing that matters is that we in the same room.
Exactly. And I got a few friends, you know, went to UC with, and some. Shout out to Mike Tyson, he got drafted, but some other guys didn't get drafted. They made it to the rookie minicamp. But what would be your advice to the ones who are currently trying to make the NFL roster? You know, what does it truly take to make that roster? Or just what would you give them as some mental, you know, advice that
because
you can do it?
See, and here's the thing too with that, because a lot of times it's like, oh, just work hard and skills and stuff like that. But what about the mental side? You know, because that's really the majority of it. I know a lot of players who are really skilled and talented, but the mental side is not there. And then there's a person who's not as skilled and talented, but the mental side is there, and they're always going to beat that person. So, you know, talk about the mental side too. I think that's the most important thing. You know, the skill and the talent, that's important. You know, you can't be super confident but not have that.
You gotta have the mental.
But you've got to have both. So talk about that too.
Man, so when I first, before I got in the NFL, I had a visit to the New York Giants. I had a workout there with some other guys. It's called the local workout. So it was a bunch of us working out. And there was a man who came to the podium. He was speaking to us. He worked for the Giants. And he told us, the one thing you have to know is this: you're being evaluated before you even hit the field. So he said, the way you carry yourself the way you interact with other players, the way you interact with your coaches, the way you shake your coach hand, you know, whether you're foam rolling, stretching when the coach asks you to do it, like when you with the strength coaches, they evaluating all of that. Mm-hmm. So for you to like the competition with yourself, with others, it started way before you hit the football field. And a lot of us don't know that.
Right.
A lot of the younger guys coming in, they don't know. So I try to tell them all, like, you know, carry yourself. You're a professional now. Like in college, you know, for whatever reasons, it's called amateur. You know, you know, you're on scholarship.
Right.
Here, you're a professional. So carry yourself as a professional in all you do. Mm-hmm. And second thing, I would tell, you know, because I know some of the younger guys, some of the guys at UC who now on different teams, you know, some of them aren't on the team right now, but I would tell them, I tell all the guys out there, you know, fighting, you know, maybe late round draft picks or all of, you know, the masses of undrafted guys. I say, you know what? It's easy to come in and show up day one and do it all right. Come 2 minutes early to meetings, listen, but the hard thing is to do it by day 25. You know, that it's hard to do something over and over and over. I was just at Taft High School. I was speaking to some young people. I was telling them, like, it's easy. You know, we talk about respect, you know, respect for authority. I was telling them it's easy to be respectful to your coach, your teacher, one time, twice. It's easy to do that. But, like, as time goes, it gets harder and harder, you know, because something within us, we don't, you know, whether it's tired, you just angry, you don't feel like doing it, we don't have the respect for others. We don't feel like grinding, but you just gotta put put it in your brain. Put it in your brain. Make some statements to your brain and say, look, I'm not gonna listen to myself. I'm gonna talk to myself. I'm gonna tell myself that I gotta focus today. You know, and it's hard, man. It's hard when you're in these meetings and listening to coach. You know? That's the biggest difference from college to NFL to me are the meetings. You in meetings for so long, you know? Yeah. So you just in there and it's hard to listen, but they're not going to go over it again, you know? So if you don't get it now, that's lost forever.
Yep.
So you just got to get you some coffee or a Red Bull.
Right.
You
something to keep you up,
meetings are hard, and you've been in the league for over 5 years, about 7 years, right?
7, yeah, this
going
eight.
Going to 8.
Up, yeah.
So, you know, what was the hardest season, you know, for you, and how did you know, learn from it? Like me as a fan, you know, Stu's known. There were times when I was like, forget the Bengals, because it was like it was like a relationship, man. It's like, man, I love her, and she just keep cheating on me, or she don't love me back. So, man, just like win after win, loss after loss, I was pretty much trying to throw in the towel. But Stu and some of my friends are like, "No, you can't do that." So, me watching you guys, but you being on the field, what was that season? I was like, man, this is the hardest. Whether it was a personal performance or what the team was going through, or maybe after a playoff loss, and how did you come back and you learn from that? That's a good one.
That's a good one, man. I'm gonna give you 2 seasons. So first off, from my second to my 6th year, so that's 5 years, 2nd through 6th, we were a winning team. You know, we won more games than we lost. We went to the playoffs every year, you know, which only 12 out of 32 teams go to the playoffs every year. It's a feat to go to the playoffs, you know, let alone 5 times in a row. But I'll tell you, my first year, when we didn't go to the playoffs, I was on a practice squad. That was my rookie year. That was the second toughest year. You know, that was the second toughest because we were 2-1, right? And then 10 weeks later, we were 2-11.
Oh,
we lost 11. We lost 10 games in a row. Like, and in the NFL, when you lose, like in college, when you lose, like it's bad, but you know you're gonna be on the team next week,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
NFL,
They start evaluating and start looking.
you might get fired the next week.
Right.
Or like after you had I've seen this multiple times. Somebody has a bad game on Sunday. On Monday, they not at the locker. Like they nameplate is gone.
Dang.
So is that how y'all be finding out a lot of times? Like, oh, so and so is
You
gone.
ain't make it.
Yeah, that's how I would find out. I mean, now it's like Twitter, like they tell you right away. But when I first got in the NFL, like, man, I sound so old just saying that.
Like, oh, Twitter, man, change the game.
But when I got in the NFL, you wouldn't know till you got to the locker room. Like, you see a nameplate gone. Like, oh, he just got released. Like,
Dang.
and no, here's the worst part. Generally speaking, in businesses, in institutions, corporations, when someone's not performing, when that business or corporation isn't performing, there's like everyone's looking for the reason. You know,
Right.
So for our organization, from top down, they're looking for the reason why we're not performing well enough.
Yeah.
I being on the practice squad, I was the bottom. You know, so
Yeah.
all fingers are being pointed to me, you know, or us on the practice squad. So weekly, you would see guys being released. You know, so
Yeah.
you're just thinking as you're losing, and you know, performance is key in the NFL. It's all based on performance. So you're losing, you're like, man, when am I gonna go? You know, so every week you come in the locker room and you're just thankful to be there.
And see, like I was mentioning before, we have a sports brand now, Under Pressure, and basically saying, you know, a lot of people can perform, but when they by themselves, or if you're a basketball player, when you shoot, we've heard of practice players, right? Players who are great in practice, but when the lights come on, totally different player, you know. And so you talking about how you see people one by one getting cut. And in your mind, you got to be like, well, shoot, you know I can be next, you know, and so that pressure is there. But as an athlete, how do you deal with pressure? How do you perform still under pressure?
Man, for me to perform under pressure, I really have to trust that, you know, I believe, you know, that I believe that the God of the Bible, the God of the universe, knows the end from the beginning. And I do believe that he has my best interest in mind because I'm his child, you know, through faith. So it's so hard because I don't know the future. I don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to be there at the start of the week next week? Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, but when I come into that game, I just have to rest in the fact that, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. But like a child with his father, I'm just going to trust my father. Like, my heavenly father is going to work things out whether I'm here or not. Like, I don't know how he going to do it, but I just got to trust that he going to do what he do.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing. You know, I'm not saying, oh, you know, I'm here because, you know, the people who not here, they didn't trust God. Not at all.
Right,
That's
yeah.
the opposite of what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, you know, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. You know, so just be thankful for today and trust God for tomorrow. But you got to fight and do your part. You know, you just got to grind.
Right.
Because life will come at you real fast.
It's going to happen. Life's going to come at you. You got to trust the process, like you always say.
Well, yeah, trust the process.
gotta
Yeah.
trust
The process. That's
Yeah.
where we go.
Yeah, that's one of
Yeah,
our-
gotta trust the process,
That's
man.
one of our
Got to.
slogans.
Yeah.
And speaking of faith, man, like, you know, I know we both go to the same church. Shout out to Bethel. And it's been a pleasure really getting a chance to, you know, go to Bible study with you, learning from you and seeing like, man, like despite the money, despite the fame, you still, you know, some people, they stray away from that and you are still a man of faith. So how critical is that for you on and off the field that you know, keep your faith in line?
That's a good question. Yeah, shout out to Pastor Brian, man.
Shout out to Pastor Brian. Because, you know, in the NFL, you know, we can open up and say it. You got fans and people coming at you. And, like, you got to really be right to live that type of lifestyle and, you know, be that man of God, be that man for your wife. You know what I mean? So
Foundation.
set the foundation. You got people watching you. So how critical is that, like you said, everything you do is for God?
Man. So that's a good question. You know, so first, I got to make sure I'm in a good community, man. Like making sure I'm surrounded around the right people. And, the best community for me to be around. I mean, shouts to Good Company. I'm wearing Good Company apparel right now. But that's my man D-Mob. He created it. So
I've been saying that everywhere. That's definitely.
Check it out.
Yeah,
it's popping, man. But I'm just keeping good company. And for me, the best company I could keep is my wife. She's awesome. Just encouraging me. I'm a person that needs encouragement, man. I run on E sometimes with encouragement. But she got my back, man, and it's been awesome building with her for we've been married 2 years. My daughter Talia, she's 1. It's been awesome, That's been I really believe through my marriage and through being a parent, that's been making me better, That's been making me a better person, Number one, I believe it's been making me more like God, and number two, it's been making me just a better person for the world in general, just a more patient person. Sometimes you gotta get up early in the morning and change a diaper.
Right.
You don't realize how much you love sleep till you have a child, man. But
I believe it.
But anyway, I believe that the Bible is the word of God, I believe, I don't believe that, it's been changed over time. Whenever a new translation comes out, it ain't like the telephone game where they just got what was passed down to them. No, they go to the original manuscripts to get whatever they gonna write, the original meaning the Greek, Aramaic, Hebrew, all that. So I believe in the Bible, and I believe what it says. So I need to read it. Reading that, putting those things in my brain. It helps me to speak to myself instead of just listening to myself.
Right.
Listening to doubts, man, because you will doubt yourself. People will make you doubt yourself. People on Twitter, they'll be harsh sometimes, man. You mean?
Look, I already know. Right.
One missed jumper, one missed tackle,
one missed shot.
Then
And they be like, he can't shoot, he whack. Like, dang, one shot? Like, man.
Get him off the court.
Right.
That's how it is.
Like, man, but that's just, man, but that's just part of it. That's just part of it. And that, like you said, that doubt can get there quickly. And in sports, you got to make split-second decisions. And if you allow doubt in your mind for just a split second, that play's over. That opportunity to make that tackle is over. Like if you hesitate to make that read, it's over. Too late now. And so that doubt is probably one of the biggest killers of careers. And with Steph Curry, I always ask my players, like, who do y'all think the best shooter in the NBA is? Oh, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, they say all these different things. And I'm like, what if it's John Doe? Some random dude that's in the NBA, and he can shoot just as good as Steph Curry, but when it comes time for the game, he doubts himself. So he doesn't take the shots he's capable of taking.
It's practice players.
Practice player, right? And so he may have the capability, but does he have that will? Does he have that determination? Does he have that mindset where he's able to take the shots that he's able to take? And capability is great, and it's definitely needed. But when the lights are on, capability it's not about capability, right? It's about, people don't get awards. Nobody got an MVP for what they could have done. Right. People don't get awards for what they could have done or what they're capable of doing. It's only about what you actually do. And so doubt can be the single most killer of any career, or starting a business or writing a book, anything. Doubt. That's the biggest thing.
And speaking of the pros, man, I have to bring this up because I have a lot of friends that are trying to get into the pros, or there's some that are already in there. And I'll open up and talk about the financial part of it. That, how do you feel, Stu, as well? You got these rookies coming in, right? It's rookie contract. All right, I'm about to get Balenciagas, Louis Vuitton. I'm about to go and get a Porsche Panamera, right, on the rookie contract. And like you said, it's a job. So you don't know how long you're going to be there. How do you feel about that? The young people, that they need to understand being frugal, financially. Like, you're one of the most humble people I've ever met. And you're not out here stunting. And you don't have to be. So how important is that to be smart with your money in the league, because you don't know how long you're going to be in the league? And Lonzo Ball talked about, now with the BBB movement, Big Baller Brand, not just being endorsers, but being entrepreneurs. So just leveraging a brand for something good as well.
Man, appreciate that, man. But yeah, for guys incoming, you know, when it comes to money, you know, a lot of there's a good amount of young guys coming in the NFL who, you know, like me, you know, didn't know how to write a check, you know, never had a credit card, never had any of that. Don't really understand how banks really work, you know. So, and then also, you know, have extended family members that, you know, kind of are, who are struggling, who are kind of like, shoot, you know, maybe he could help us out.
And see, I actually heard this from somebody. I can't remember if it's on a TV show or whatever, but they were saying a lot of times players go broke not because they're not smart, but because they're just nice. And so, like you said, they have family members or friends who are like, hey, you know, and they don't want them to be like, oh, you different now, you changed, you know, you ain't trying to help.
Day from third grade, hey, it was good.
You know, somebody you ain't, right? And you don't want to be seen as like, oh, I don't want to seem like I'm stuck up, and so that's what they were saying. So when you said that, I'm like, yeah, you know, a lot of times it's because they're just nice, they're too nice. You know, they don't. Sometimes you don't know how to say no. You know, that's part of it, though.
Yeah, and that's a real thing, man. I still struggle with that at times, and saying no, you know. You feel like this is family, you know, or these are my guys, you know. I grew up with them, you know. They would do the same for me, I bet, you know. So,
just staying smart, man. Staying smart with your money.
To speak to that, Jay, I would say, I would introduce this that most people don't know, but you don't get paid on a 52-week basis in the NFL.
Yeah, how do y'all get paid? Is it by game or
per game? So the 16 games, so you're getting a check for each game. So you got to make it to the games to get your checks, you know, unless you were, you know.
Makes sense why the contracts aren't guaranteed money all the time.
Exactly. Some people, but if you're a first rounder, you may have a certain amount of millions guaranteed, you know, but if you're, you know, for me, I was undrafted. What was my signing bonus? What I had guaranteed was $3,770. So that's what I was given, you know, which was that was a lot of money to me, you know, $3,700. But you know that'll go quick, you know. So that's what I got in April or May, and you just don't know when it's going to end. That's the thing. So I would just advise guys, you know, it's better to wait, you know. Just wait, man. If you think you want to get something real nice, you know, the nice car, you know, this or that, I would say just wait, man. You know, grind it out because, you know, even if you play, let's say you play 10 years, you're going to be done at 32 years old. That's a young man, you know. You know, I feel like I haven't been playing too long, but, you know, I'm going to my 8th year. I'm 29 years old. So, like, you're still young, so you just, you know, I would say it's better to wait, man. And just when it comes to family, I know it's hard, man, but, you know, and then especially your first year, your rookie year, you're going to make the most mistakes off the field. Well, when it financially, I think that's just what happens, you know. But, you know, try your best to, you know, limit those mistakes.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, you know, for sharing that information, man. I feel like that was critical, especially to my friends. I will get that information to them so people know that. Right. And one thing people don't know, fun fact, this dude ran a 4.5. If y'all don't understand how fast
4.5,
you
that's
6
crazy.
foot, right? 6 foot,
Yeah,
250, solid, and he's faster than me, faster than some receivers, running backs. So like, if you try to steal something from him and you trying to run away, like
it's over.
It's over. It's over. So how did you know, I've heard 40 is sometimes all about stance or, you know, I had cramp when I came out. You know what I mean? You got to make sure you prepare, right?
That's all. That would be sorry.
So how did you prepare for that? And what's the tricks like, man? How are you so fast? Or like, what are some speed drills that you do or something?
Okay, so
'cause I'm trying to learn. Shoot.
Yeah, so I just, you know, you got to start training. Make sure you got your start, and at the end of the day, honestly, it's just about running. You know, just keep your head down for the first couple steps. You know, all the training, all the training and stuff, all the advice, like it really didn't help me. The thing that helped me was just get down and just run through the line. Just run 40 yards, run through the line. You know, so that's what I did. You know?
Let's go. I got to see the tape.
Yeah, I was out, man. And then also we had a lot of scouts there, and I mean, when you have people with, that guy worked for this team, that guy worked for that team. This is your dream. You've been thinking of this for years. You like, I'm gonna run the fastest I ever ran. That was the fastest I probably ever ran in my life. You know, so.
He's running for that contract.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta. I'm telling you, that'll make the difference. Like you said, you did. I'm sure you prepared for it. I'm sure you, like you said, got all the advice. But at the end of the day, when it's time, it's like, all right, now what?
Yeah.
You know, now what?
He was running like that dude from Get Out.
Get out, yeah.
He was out of there, man.
He probably kept running past. We ran 60. They're like, all right, you done? You can come back.
Ran a post route.
Oh,
and
man.
Stu always, he always asks this question. You always say, "What is your?"
Oh yeah. So at the end of the day, no, not at the end of the day. That's the next one. But so all the hard work, all the preparation, what wakes you up like, all right, I'm doing it again. I'm going back at it. So what's your why?
What's your why? That's a good question, Stu. Man, my why. Think about that. My why, man, is this. I mean, I mentioned it already, but my why is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. You know, and like I said, what does that mean? Glory. What is that? That's not a word we talk about a lot. You know, and to me that mean to make God look good, to make Him known. You know, glory is like an imprint, a mirror image. You know, so like if I believe that God made every human being in His image, so every human being, no matter where he or she is born, no matter where they come from, they got inherent wealth just in them, just because they a human.
Right.
You know, so you know, for me, I'm a human being. You know, I'm no less worth than anybody else. You know, even sometimes in my head, I'll be like, you know, sometimes I'll say like, man, maybe I'm not worth as much, or maybe I'm worth more. It's both are lies. So I just wanna make God look good through how I treat people, through everything I do. You know, through word and deed. I want to make God look good and enjoy Him. You know, how do I enjoy Him? Just ultimately not delight in nothing else. Not like, don't delight in what a coach say about me or what a player say about me over what God say about me. And God said He loved me, so I need to be more thankful that God loved me. God loves me than like coach said, oh, you did a great job tackling this dude. Or the dude on Twitter say, oh, you did a good job winning the game against Pittsburgh, which that's the team I want to beat.
Right.
You know?
I want you to beat them too. Shoot.
So that's it right there, man. Like, to glorify God, man, and enjoy God forever. That's my why.
Amazing. And so the last question, it's the very last one that we always end with, is at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you know, you done played all the games you can play, you done all you can do. What do you want people to say? Vincent Rey was
another one. Hey, that's another great question.
Yeah.
That's it, man. You got the questions, man. Like
That's why I said
like
it.
that's that deep stuff.
Yeah.
Vincent Rey was okay. So what you saying? So basically, you're saying, well, on my legacy.
I'm dropping that Ray Lewis on you.
Vincent Rey. I want people to say Vinny Rey was a grinder. You know, I just put in work, man. That's just what I do. You know, I play my part. You know, Vinny Rey was a grinder.
I like that. Clap it up, man. Clap it up, Vincent Rey. We like to end it with Jay and his quote of the day, just to get people thinking. So go ahead, Jay.
All right, guys, you've heard it, from the great one, Vinny. If you want to perform at a high level in life, if you want to play at a high level in life, you have to be around people who are going faster and further than you. Level up.
Level up. And that's Jay Thomas, Stu N with the great Vincent Rey. We appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all.